His computer. No, his computer's recording.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So wave.
How we doing tonight? Woo! Hell yeah, good to be back. TG motherfucking IF, right? Hell yeah. How's the dirt water tonight? I mean the kratom. Good stuff. I like how you got bars where you drink alcohol, which doesn't taste great to begin with, and then like you got kratom, which is basically like a worse tasting alcohol. It's interesting how that goes. Anyway, I was thinking, comedy is sort of interesting. Most people think it's really scary. I don't find it that challenging or intimidating. I don't feel nervous when I do this. I don't feel excited. I don't really feel anything. It's known as depression. Hell yeah, I am fucking dead inside. Whoever said that, we're soul sisters. I recently felt pretty happy. My therapist said not to worry about it. Probably a side effect of all the meds. Should pass. So I got ADD, I got OCD, and I got PTSD, which I guess that means I got big D energy. Hell yeah. Speaking of stuff like that, you got breast reduction surgery, and people are getting that for their backs. And it's interesting because you have other options. You could go to a chiropractor. If you're into anime, you can get like a super suit. If you're into Marvel, you get like an exoskeleton. But if you flip it along the other way, like dudes, if they had back problems from having big dicks, they would just have crippling back pain their whole lives. They would just be like, yeah, I can't walk anywhere, but guess what I do really well? He's laying pipe. He's not doing anything else good, but he's got that on lock. I think most dudes would take that deal. It's interesting how differently that breaks down across the genders. Yeah. Speaking of breasts and stuff like that, public breastfeeding is kind of interesting. I have some thoughts on this topic. I think like breastfeeding's fine, but if we could talk a little bit about who gets to breastfeed, right? I feel like babies are sort of selfish. So you can tell definitely that babies haven't learned how to share yet because they're monopolizing all the titties and the world breast milk supply. Like babies are basically running this cartel no one knows about to take all of the breast milk revenue. That's what people don't realize. There's a secret cartel behind things run by the babies. Babies are really selfish. It's like all about them, Like they can't even appreciate boobs and they're taking it away from everyone else. Yeah, and they ruin airplanes. Like I could go on and on about how inconvenient babies are to my life and just people in general. They're just downright inconsiderate when you think about it. I don't know. If you gave an adult a baby's personality, like babies get away with a lot because they're cute, but if you gave an adult a baby's personality, you would not hang out with that person. You'd just be like, yeah, they're really selfish. It's all about them. They cry all the time. Like, it's not a good personality. So, let's see, babies are selfish. Oh yeah, impressions. So I really like Seinfeld. We got any fans of Seinfeld in here? Hell yeah, that's what's up. So Seinfeld is basically, for me, I'm just impersonating some of my Jewish relatives up in New York. It's sort of like, what's the deal with airplanes? Or what's the deal with airplane food? Do they make the food out of the plane? Or, something about bananas or something. I don't know. Seinfeld's kind of interesting. He's so funny that he got to ignore statutory laws. Like he straight up married a 17-year-old, and people were like, "Yeah, Seinfeld's pretty good. Just let him have this one." Jerry, I heard you married a 17-year-old. George, how'd you get in here? Jerry, what are you doing? Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, comedy you can see why Me Too happened if you just read some like 2 or 3 comedians' Wikipedia pages. You're like, oh, that's what an abuse of power looks like. Cool. Yeah. Some Wikipedia. Wikipedia is depressing. You spend too much time on there, and it actually can take you down a dark path. Lost a lot of good men to Wikipedia. People don't realize that. But, it's a really destructive habit, Googling things. It's dangerous. So speaking of comedians who do shitty things, I think Louis C.K., they should have given him more punishment options than just permanent exile from comedy. Like, I think he should have been able to keep doing the show Louis, keep doing Madison Square Garden, on the condition that he be castrated. So that way, everyone's safe, and I still get to see the next season of Louis. It seems like a win-win to me, but I don't know. They don't put me in charge of much. I just watched Taxi Driver. I fucking love that movie. I feel like that movie shows a side of New York that, like, I definitely never got to see. I mean, I wasn't alive back then. But it's a good ass movie. Anyway, Robert De Niro's kind of like, yeah, I'm Italian. I'm walking here. You know, you talking to me? No, really, I'm pretty stupid. Are you talking to me? What was my line again? Robert De Niro, the trick is just to like tighten up your face and then pretend like you've forgotten how to breathe. Okay. Okay, now I'm breathing, and what was the line again? Al Pacino is sort of in the same vein. You just have to pretend you have a back. You know, he's always going like, oh. You know, he's like, our true enemy has yet to reveal himself. Oh. Oh. He is always nursing a bad back, I feel like. Yeah. Anybody fuck with The Sopranos? I'm a big Sopranos guy. I love the mafia in general. Hell yeah. Yeah, Tony's kind of like, Tony, I feel like would hate the world that we're living in today. He'd be like, Carmela, I was reading the other day about these dog groomers. You hear about the dog groomers? What, Tone? Like people who clean dogs? I don't know. You know, first they're grooming kids, now they're grooming dogs. I come by there, they're like, do you have a dog for me to groom? I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Fucking dog grooming over here. What the hell? They're like, no, we groom dogs. Anyway, what about if Tony thinks that he's actually married not to Carmela Soprano, but he thinks he's married to Kamala Harris? Their names are kind of similar. It's like, oh, what are you running for president of the United States for, Kamala? She's like, Tony, I'm not Kamala Harris. He's like, oh, enough with the fucking, I don't know, fucking Australian. I had too much fucking gabagool and it went to my head, all the trans fats. Speaking of trans fats, what's with the gender fluids? Like, I'm in the union, pal. Don't get your gender fluids on me.
I do what I can.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna do a couple Jewish jokes and then get out of here. You guys, I'm Jewish. I like to. That's not a joke, but I do like to joke about it. So there's a brigade of Jewish firefighters. They pull up to the scene, trying to put a fire out. They start putting it out. The chief comes up and he's like, "Oh, what the hell is this shit? You guys know how expensive this water stuff is? You guys know why there isn't a Jewish Pope? It's because 2 Jews can't agree on anything. So there's a Jew on a desert island, a Robinson Jerusalem, and he builds 3 buildings in his time there, a hut and 2 synagogues. When he's rescued, someone asks him, why'd you build 2 synagogues? And he goes, well, this one is the synagogue that I go to, and this one, I wouldn't be caught dead in that synagogue. We like to complain as we jest. Speaking of, my family was eating at a restaurant, and the waiter walks up to us and goes, is anything all right? Yeah, I've heard them say sometimes, the food was terrible, and the portions were too small. It's like, those cancel each other out. Fucking pickle. So, my best friend's Catholic. I'm Jewish, so we're going to open up a firm called Guilt and Shame Incorporated. We're only going to represent people who've been molested. So a rabbi, somebody who's like a priest in the Jewish religion, a rabbi's asking a moil. A moil is like somebody who circumcises boys professionally. He's asking the moil, "Hey, how much do you make in a year?" And the moil goes, "Well, Rabbi, I just keep the tips." You don't get it? All right, fuck it. That's my time. I'm Jacob Englander. Look me up. Tip your Kava tenders. Thank you. Good night. Thomas, let's get a round of applause for Jacob Englander. Good job, brother.